for more than 7,000 years, and indigenous people lived here and utilized the land and resources. The Kanaka Bar is its name today, but historically was known as Tla'q'uiqt'in, or the crossing place, and the Nlaka'pamux are one of the people who live at the crossing place. With contact came change. Over time, the change became almost insurmountable, and as a result, the indigenous peoples became oppressed. The Indian Act was created, the residential school was created, and for many years, the indigenous peoples were subjugated. The Nlaka'pamux way of life was lost, right? We became so bloody dependent that we stopped farming the land. We just gave up.
It wasn't just about living off the land. It was about having a true sense of value of what life really is for us. It was about, learning our own stories, learning our own ancestor stories.
One time there was 4 or 5 houses here in this area here, and Granny's house up there. There used to be pretty nice gardens here one time. That ditch just watered everything, eh? That's good water too, eh? I mean, that was back in the day where there was no electricity. It'd be just pure organic, eh? I mean, growing our own veggies, our own food source, yeah. Raising our cows. I remember Granny used to have chickens. She had some horses, veggies, fish, dried fish, canned fish, and salted fish in the big barrels. When this was slowly disappearing, the only house that was left was the Spoon's house by the church. All the other houses, I guess the families, they just dispersed. They just moved on elsewhere, I guess. Seasonal work, and then they'll go wherever there's work, and then they'll come back. Now that the houses are gone, they're not coming back.
In 1964, Indian Affairs came and said we could no longer cross the river anymore. So we're no longer on the river fishing. We no longer cross the river as the crossing place people. Right? There used to be 2,000 of us here, now there's 200. And of that, only 60 people live here year-round. And nobody's fishing. Where are the sockeye salmon? Something called climate change is starting to occur. The world's global temperature is starting to escalate. So the salmon are starting to experience stress because of water temperatures. But it's not just the water temperature, it's the cumulative effect or the combined effect of all of man's activities for the last 150 years.
There's going to come a time when we know our world is going to shake. When it shakes, we want to be ready and prepared to be able to take care of each other, feed each other, right? We want to be able to have our own source of food and not have to worry about anything else.
If you're working, you go to the store, buy their food, or go to Chilliwack, load up on food, or go to Kamloops and buy their food.
So the Kanaka Bar community, like most other communities in North America, has gone through this incredible shift away from self-provisioning into the global food system, right, which is bringing food from around the world over the last 50 years or so, not that long a time. And it's a fragile system and one that is showing a lot of signs of cracking and fragilities, from water shortages in California to climate change events that are interrupting production around the world. So there's a growing awareness, and the folks here are very well aware that increasing their own capacity here for food production is an important piece of their own food security and food sovereignty. And they are super fortunate because they have incredible sun, decent soil to work with, abundant water resources. So all of the basic ingredients are there.
Today we're working towards being self-sufficient, going back to what is it like and what is it that we need to do to start having gardens again.
Mother, she's got a garden. I've been helping her out this year. She's got 2 separated gardens. And she's got fruit trees around there, grapes. It's kind of like the old house, eh?
As you can see, there's a lot coming up. There's a lot of green ones. We need to get some tomato sticks happening to support these guys, but they're pretty loaded. Hopefully, with all the tomatoes, we could give a good portion to every house, or we could have a community can where we can it and then we give everyone some. We all need to work on our health because we've been introduced to all of these different things like white bread, sugary snacks, juice. It's all an adjustment.
These days, you don't know about food in a supermarket. You don't know what you're getting. If it's made here, made in China, or why not grow our own? So this is all being arranged so that we can, we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4 terrace-like platforms going up to the top there.
This is going to be awesome that we will have all of this, because not only one day will we might not have food coming in from other countries, but it's just healthier. Especially if we're organic and not GMO or spraying pesticides.
So what we're going to produce here at Kanaka Bar is enough food to meet our year-round food requirements, but generate enough so that we have a new economy based on agriculture by selling fruits, vegetables, and meat products online and available for market.
The ultimate goal is to become self-sufficient, not to rely on outside sources for our food. Not only will we be growing fruits, vegetables, nuts and berries out here, we'll have a greenhouse right there, a test greenhouse. If the greenhouse works out fine, then we'll introduce them down below on a larger scale.
Through some of the insights of permaculture, we can look at this land base here in the Fraser Canyon, the climate, the waterfall patterns, the soil conditions, and ask ourselves, what is a good fit here to regenerate and to create abundance for the folks here?
The most integral part of the land use plan actually is this vision statement, is the commitment of Kanaka Bar to return back to a self-sufficient, sustainable, and vibrant community. The community wanted to achieve 4 levels of self-sufficiency. One was an energy self-sufficiency, second is food self-sufficiency, third is employment self-sufficiency, and fourth was financial self-sufficiency. The federal government restricts us to these little bit of reserve lands, right? So we needed to somehow find a way to break that dependency. And the hydro project's revenues at the 50 megawatt level actually produces a form of financial self-sufficiency. Also, the membership wanted solar, so within 90 days we put up not 1 but 3 solar projects, which are currently in operation as we speak. Kanaka Bar has now achieved a form of self-determination again.
We're getting to a place where we want to be able to share and show, and even be able to walk with the community and educate them on what it's like to come back to Mother Earth.
The resources are depleted, but they're not gone. The question is, can we bring them back? We feel almost powerless about the salmon, but we're doing our part by staying off the river. It's hard because when your entire culture, your entire history, your language, your laws, your social structure is built around the salmon. Right? But I'm not about to slip into despair, neither is my membership. We believe that what man has done can be undone. And that's why we're trying to do what we're doing. We're trying to showcase, you know what? We can do this.
Being raised with my ancestors, there was a real sense of value, not about just life, but a true way of living, where we didn't feel like we needed to depend on anyone. We were able to sustain ourselves, we were able to feed ourselves. This is what we're hoping would be the future of Kanaka.